ready, Mike?
Oh, sorry.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, I'd like to call the October 28th Town Board meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you. Just two quick announcements. So this past Monday we had, yesterday actually, our monthly food pantry at the senior center. We had 22 new families come this month. Do we know Rolling Bee's transportation?
I don't know.
We don't know. Rolling Bee's still providing free transportation as long as folks are using it. So for those that are using the food pantry, really should try to use the transportation. They'll provide it for free as long as people are actually utilizing it. Also, tonight we're going to be passing the 2026 budget. It's definitely come a long way. There were two budgets that were presented, one by the budget officer and myself. It was for approximately a 0.75% tax decrease, and the town controller presented his tentative budget for a 4.5% tax increase. We had to do a lot of discussions as to what the preliminary budget came out to be and what tonight's final budget is. And, we more or less met somewhere in the middle. Main issue was, it was my opinion that revenues were not accurately forecasted. And in the final budget, basically it came up, essentially there was a difference of about $400,000 in property taxes that needed to be raised. And, the final version had, the final version brought up those revenues approximately $220,000, which in my opinion is a tacit admission that the revenues have definitely been underreported or underestimated. In my opinion, the current budget will still wind up with a surplus, but I don't see any reason for us to hold up the budget any further. So as much as I would have liked to see a even greater tax decrease this year compared to last year, the budget as it stands now, it went from 4.2% tax increase to a 2.14% tax increase. Still a long cry from the tax increase I submitted to the town board, but it's definitely a step in the right direction with regards to how we are forecasting our budgets in the future. Do we have any correspondence tonight, Paul?
No.
All right, then with that, I will go ahead and move on to our public comment portion. Would anyone like to speak tonight?
Pam Wagner.
It's your fault that I had to come in, because I wanted to see you face to face when I said this. We can start with the fact that the cost of living for senior, or not senior, for Social Security has only gone up 2.8%. I'm a numbers person. So I'd like to ask a few questions regarding the 2026 town budget. It appears that the proposed budget includes double-digit raises for both the supervisor, which is 36%, and the town board, which is 50%. At the same time, there is also a resolution to override the New York State's 2% tax cap, and another resolution to engage special counsel in connection with litigation, all which involve taxpayer funds. Respectfully, I think many residents would like to understand how the board justifies granting itself such a significant raise while also increasing the tax burden on residents. What specific litigation the town needs special counsel for, and how much that engagement will cost. How these decisions fit within the town's stated goals of fiscal responsibility and transparency. We all recognize that some increases or expenses may be necessary, but clear explanations help maintain the public trust. Since these actions involve our community's tax dollars, it would be helpful for the board to explain the reasoning behind them before the budget is finalized. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pam.
Oh, I'll send it to you.
All right. Anyone else like to speak tonight? We have someone signed up next.
James Legardi.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. As most of you know, Bonnie and I have been studying the town's water issues for several years now. Part of those studies included the Gan Eden Estates. This project has been somewhat dormant for the past 3 years. The history of these estates goes back, as I learned not too long ago, to 1988, when the former Columbia Hill 197 acres was purchased by Larry Farnerland, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, who later sold it to Atlantic Realty Development, who was then the developer or the proposed developer of Gan Eden Estates. In May of 1999, Gan Eden Estates purchased 13.63 acres in the town of Fallsburg at a tax auction. This is the site of the 2 main water wells for this project. When these wells were first tested, there was a negative effect on several of the neighboring private water wells. I could not find in the records that we were able to obtain if there was any effect on the 2 town Fallsburg's water wells, which are, of course, very, very close to where these test wells are. A lot of the help that I got was from the Columbia Hill Neighborhood Alliance, or what we most well know as the What the Hill Group, that was formed back in 2012, specifically because of this proposed development. The Gan Eden proposal is in the Hurleyville Fire District and will supposedly have 534 row house type units that the developer says will require a withdrawal of 5.7 million gallons per month. And that's a questionable item that's not been determined by the water test or the demands that the project may have on water itself. Our research shows that the wells are in a wetland and very close, as I mentioned, to the 2 Fallsburg town wells here in Hurleyville. The proposed development will also have an on-site wastewater treatment facility, or what most commonly is called a package plant. There remains a big question as to where the treated wastewater is going to flow from that proposed plant. The town of Fallsburg was given interested party status. I bring all of this to your attention tonight because Gan Eden is back, and our concerns remain for the private wells in that area, and of course for the 2 town wells that you all are responsible for. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak?
No.
Would anyone like to speak tonight? Please come forward, give us your name and sign in. And I just want to remind the public, it's 3 minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask your questions. We'll write them down if it pertains to what's on our agenda tonight. If not, you can ask your questions, leave your information, and we'll try to get back to you.
Just say your name, please.
Christina Collette. I'm just listening to the comments here, and I just have some concerns. You said that, sort of we may as well pass the budget, but you also said that we're either under-reporting or inaccurately reporting some numbers that impact the budget. And so if those numbers are being underreported or inaccurately reported, is there going to be an investigation to figure out what the problem is? Because that can't go on. And if the town board is making a budget based on numbers that they now know have not been accurately reported, you know, I'm just gonna go back to what Pam said, how can you justify giving yourselves a raise if you're working out budgets based on numbers that are not right? I don't understand how these things work, and it just doesn't sound right. I'm also concerned about the water issues, but I think James did a really good job with that. So those are my concerns, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Oh, Karen, go ahead, Amy. I got you.
Good evening, Amy Barkley Carey here. Thank you for doing due diligence and looking into the budget, and I really appreciate that. Just wondering if there's anything more that we can do in terms of maybe grants or just high-yield CDs, something, we've been talking about the infrastructure that needs to be upgraded and whatnot concerning the water issues and supply and demand in our town as it increases as we go. What can we do to help balance the budget? Never going to eliminate, maybe decrease the burden on the taxpayers, all of us in this room included, keep the town functioning and look forward to the future. Just some food for thought. We'll all figure out solutions.
Thank you, Amy. Anybody else? Sure. That's fine, I got it. Go ahead.
So, Michael, the first question I want to ask is, in reference to the budget, is it expected to decrease for next year or increase?
It's increasing slightly next year.
Increasing?
Yes.
So, but how come if things are being changed with the election and everything, why would it increase?
Well, the spending increases most notably has to do with the cost of health insurance and employee benefits. Those always go up. It's a matter of finding ways to offset those increases, but ultimately, it always increases unless we decide to cut some major program or something like that. Thank you, Ocean.
Thanks, Ocean. Is there anybody else in house?
Yes.
Just say your name already.
Eli Letterman. Good evening. I just want to note that the proposed salary increase for board and supervisor seem modest, especially considering the workload, responsibilities these roles carry when you look at our neighboring towns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Michael, I have another question too.
Well, let's let everyone speak first
Okay.
before we
All right, thank
open it
you.
up again.
Yes.
Would anyone else like to speak from the public in person or online? Anyone online? We don't have that many people online, I see.
No.
Okay, Ocean, ask your question, please.
My question is for Nathan as well too. I was wondering, Nathan, is it possible, could you give me the information, like, about the grants? Like if a pipe breaks in your house or if there is a leak, like what grants are available that would help pay for that?
Sure.
You have that paperwork?
I'll get it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, because my mom and I were always paying out of pocket for everything, and everything is very expensive. So we need some help with that.
That it is. All right, one last chance for anyone like to speak? Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public portion, and we're gonna move on to our department head updates. First up is Parks, Paraslewski.
Good evening, everybody. Just a little update from what we've been going on at the parks. About a month ago, we completed our daffodil project. We planted 6,000 daffodil bulbs in Morningside Park in 3 different locations. Excuse me. We had about 100 people, volunteers, come out and show their support and give their help. It was truly special to see the community come together. So just thank you to the Worldwide Daffodil Project. Most importantly, thank you to the town board and the community for making it possible. We completed our Sullivan 180 project for the year. We remodeled and renovated the garden and court area in Mountaindale. We have a half pickleball court and a half basketball court, along with new benches, new picnic tables, bike racks. And in the spring, we look forward to planting the new garden. Pickleball courts in Morningside have been getting off to a great start. We've been getting dozens of phone calls every day. They're getting used, I'd say from sun up to sundown since they've opened. It's great to see. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like in full swing next summer. Another project that we completed, the soccer field in Morningside Park. Grass started to grow. Obviously the weather's gonna put that to rest for a little bit, but by next year, by next summer, we will have a soccer field in Morningside Park adjacent to the football field. Both our campgrounds closed October 13th. We had a very successful season with our seasonals, so thank you to them as well. Other than that, we've been really busy with landscaping, garbage removal, beautification around the town and parks. The colder weather's here, so we're almost finished winterizing. We took our boats out of the water, we're repairing, we're cleaning, we're storing. Picnic tables, trash cans, everything of those sorts been stored, getting ready for the winter months. Daily leaf blowing, debris removal, and we've closed our concession stands and done taking care of any of our perennials for next year. We're now just gearing up for the snow and the long winter months, but we continue to be of any assistance as we can throughout the town, and that's where we're at right now, so thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
I would also suggest, you know, the pickleball courts are amazing. I see a lot of activity there. I always see people at Morningside, and most of the time I see people in Mountaindale, but, you know, you could always send people all the overflow to Mountaindale.
I have been fielding phone calls, and I do recommend Mountaindale while Morningside is busy, but yeah, we have been trying to steer people into the Mountaindale direction as well.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
All right, next up, our assessor, Winnie.
Why are you laughing, Ocean?
Because we're very excited, Winnie. I'm
You are?
excited to see you.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, so, I guess we'll do the sheets first. So just always remember, these are very fluid numbers, these numbers change really daily, because just depending on what permits are coming through to the office and what's getting closed out, CFCs, CFOs. So all these totals you see here are just gonna pretty much be different. I actually called Woodridge today, because they've been kind of stagnant, but they've had a lot going on. So, so we feel for them there in the village, and hopefully, you know, maybe once the spring comes, everything will just start getting, you know, rolling again, they'll be back on their feet. You know, open permits, you see the numbers, the deeds are broken up because the first number on those deeds, underneath the open permits, is what we've had since the end of August, but the 94 that's next to it are all new development ones that have come through. We just have not broken up the development yet, so that's why the number is so large. Anything in the next box, that's just new permits. You can see it's been kind of light. Next page, current developments. Wesley just went out to update, the weather's been good, so we keep getting updates for these. Usually by the end of October, we've had some not great weather and it's been muddy and they don't do much, but the weather's been really good, so Wesley just went out again today to update a few of these developments that have been in the works, and percentage of completion has changed. So I'm gonna assume, big assumption that most of them that are in the works now will be 100% by March 1st. So that'll change there. And there's 2 pages of those, so you guys can just take a look at those as you go. The upcoming developments, I'm gonna be honest with you, really no movement on those either. A lot of that is just in planning. Again, Woodridge is still kind of quiet right now until I'm sure they get themselves, you know, back on their feet and see where they're going. So where we are now with our rolls, we have a roll coming out in November, the middle of November. That roll is for the abstract and the county levy. So that will send out, that'll go to them, they're gonna figure out the levy, and then we'll get all that info to get the tax rates going. We send out another roll in December. That roll is to update new owners and addresses. We try to get as close to when those bills are going to be processed, so everybody who's brought it home or has changed their address is going to get their January bill.
This past 2 weeks ago now, I went to the Assessors Fall Conference in Lake George. I have not been to an assessor conference in 10 years. And I'm kind of sad now that I went, but I didn't go. We had a whole morning with the Association of Towns. I do not go to that meeting that a lot of you go to and a lot of people across the state. I've never gone. In fact, I don't think anybody in our office has ever gone. But they spent an entire morning with us, and it was very interesting. And it was just how they can support the assessor, and it was very interesting. There had to be, I would say, maybe 240 plus assessors that went to this conference. So that was great, and then we also had another full morning with New York State, and that was quite eventful. So we had ORPS there, which I would say the main thing that came out of that, and this is for everybody, is the exemptions. The firefighters exemption that the governor had now implemented, this new one. We were supposed to remove the old one for the 2026 roll. That is no longer. That has now gotten extended to December 9th, 2028. So anybody who's on the original exemption is not being removed. Anybody who got the new exemption is still staying. But this, I think why she's doing it basically is to give the towns, the schools, the counties a little more time to research and see if they want to approve it. Because I'm going to be honest, that's a great exemption if everyone's on board. But if not everyone's on board, now we're just looking at just the individual districts that have approved it are the only place where they're going to get a break. But if everybody jumps on board, then it gets better. So, but it gives now all the municipalities, the school districts, everybody, like I said, just a little extra time to do the research and see what they want to do. So nobody has to worry about that old exemption coming off. It's going to remain. Okay, so that was for me the biggest take. The only other thing that they did talk about a little bit was the STAR exemption, New York State. It is New York State's exemption. It's never been a town exemption. I know a lot of people feel that it has been. It's never. It's fully a New York State exemption. Now, anybody who turns 65, and I say this with, New York State is going to automatically put them on the enhanced STAR, as long as their income isn't there. Again.
Wonderful, very nice, I'm excited.
I'm just saying, so I would just say to still contact us once you turn 65, let's make sure you're getting there, call them, we can get you the number. Until it really gets rolling, I'm a little. The other thing that we did talk about, just to give you guys a heads up, is RPS is going to be upgraded. That is our New York State system. It is going to be, it's going to be in the cloud. They're changing it around. New York State we've been working on this for like 10 years. And finally, it looks like it's going through. There's a county upstate that is going fully on it now. I had the opportunity to talk with one of the techs about what our department needs, and it looks pretty good. And I'm not sure when it's gonna happen, we probably won't get it till the end of next year, but it is gonna change the way RPS is done, and how the building department will get their data from us. The whole thing is gonna change. We may have to do some things with, programming with that once that comes down the pike. They just haven't given us any time. I really don't know how long that's going to take. And I think, to be honest, that looks like it's about it.
I have one question/request.
Yes.
So in the future, more so with the upcoming development project list that you provide, because the ones that are already ongoing, most of us are familiar with. In addition to the SBL, can you just give us
Address.
Please.
Sure.
Just so we have an idea
Absolutely.
where it is.
Yep, we'll have it on.
Miss Winnie?
Yes,
I
dear.
have a question for you. Since my mom is 66, the information.
Your mom's on it.
Oh, my mom is on it, so she's gonna be okay.
Yeah, we're good. And also the agent exemption, we got her on too.
The
Yeah, she's good.
agent
She's on both.
exemption,
She's on both.
she's on both, so I'll
Yep.
let her know.
Yeah,
Great,
she's
thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, next up is building department, TJ, did everyone get the reports?
Yes.
TJ?
So this, it says, dear town board members, please find below the building department's monthly report for the period of September through October 28th, 2025. Permits issued, total building permits issued were 110, total permit fees collected were $43,560.32. BWOP fees collected were $2,950, not included in the permit fee collected. Inspection conducted, number of inspections done were 417, violations issued were, open violations were 147, and closed were 78. Additional department activities, the inspectors will be attending a training class from November 11th through the 14th this year. That's it.
Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
All right, so I have one additional add-on for this week, since police chief wasn't here last week. We have one more department head update.
Good evening, everybody. I apologize for my absence last week. As some of you may know, my daughter graduated from the New York State Police Academy, so I was there attending it with my family. The Fallsburg Police Department is continuing to move in a positive direction. We continue to strive to become fully staffed. And it seems like once we get close, someone either decides to retire or we lose someone to the state police. This is part of the process, but I'd like to thank the town board for helping me keep the funnel full, so we don't wind up in a staffing crisis like we had when I first took over. I'm proud to announce that Hunter Flynn graduated the academy on Thursday, began his mandatory field training yesterday. I'm also proud to report that he received an award at graduation with the highest academic average for all recruits there. Officer Ginty is heading to the academy on November 17th. Unfortunately, as you all heard, we are losing Lauren Edwards. She has decided to leave for the state police and begins her training in the middle of November. I wish her the best. 9 of the 11 plate readers are up and running. We have a little bump with some of the ones on the state property. Made a couple phone calls to try to get that taken care of. These cameras continue to be an asset to our agency. And we are coming off the busiest summer season the department has ever seen. I'd like to thank all my officers for their dedication and professionalism throughout the year. We have already answered 9,350 calls of service this year. My officers have arrested 327 individuals this year, up from 247 at the same time last year. That's an increase of about 35%. Our vehicle and traffic enforcement numbers are up drastically. Tickets are up over 200%. Some may say that crime is up, and some may say that the department is much more proactive in years past. I feel that we have all bought into the vision for what the Fallsburg Police Department should be, and the morale numbers just reflect that. The rest of our police cars are all in service, and we have been able to replace most of the fleet that was well past its prime. We continue to focus on community policing with increased foot patrol posts and community engagement. Last Friday, our officers were at the Fallsburg School for the trunk or treat, handing out candy to the kids. We even had McGruff the crime dog there, which our new officer, Patrick Lalowich, dressed up and made the kids' day. Special thank you to Councilwoman Behan. She stopped by to help out, hand candy out. Officer Miller said there were approximately 1,000 people there. We are in the beginning stages of renovating our evidence room by putting a pass-through evidence locker system in and all new lockers in for our staff. Those funds will be coming from a grant that Assemblywoman Paula Kay helped secure. I'd like to thank her also for her continued support of our department.
Thank you for a very well done job.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for our department head updates. We're now going to move on to our agenda items for tonight. Number 1, motion to approve town board minutes dated 10/21/25.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 2, motion to accept the resignation of Greg Bennett from the Parks and Recreation Department effective 12/31/2025.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 3, motion to accept resignation of Lauren Edwards from the Police Department effective 11/9/25.
We don't want to do that.
Motion.
She was a very nice lady,
Second.
phenomenal.
I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Jeff made the motion?
Motion
Yes.
passes, yeah. Number 4, so this has to do with our indoor swim program, which is starting up, I believe, in November, right?
November 3rd.
November 3rd. It sets the prices for the passes. I believe it's like $70 for an adult, $35 for a student.
It depends on non-resident, resident, child, adult, yes.
Right.
35 for town of Fallsburg resident for the year, 70 for an adult resident,
Right, yeah.
and would be 100 for a non-resident adult.
And I believe it also runs Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, this year we're incorporating a water aerobics class on Friday from 4 to 5. And on Mondays and Wednesdays will be women's swim. Tuesdays we are having a senior swim from 4 to 5 as well.
That's great. All right, I've heard a lot of positive things about those programs. All right, so number 4, motion to approve indoor swim 2025-2026 rates.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So the next two have to do with annual audits. This is something that's required by the state. One is required for the justice court, one is required for the town. It's not a comprehensive audit, it's an external auditor's review. It's referred to as agreed upon procedures, where they look at things on a sample basis, to test if we're doing the disbursements rights and things of that sort. So we had RBT Accounting contracted to perform these services, and they came back with their report and any comments or recommendations for us to implement. So our job is to review the audit and to accept the findings or not. So number 5, Resolution 90 of 2025 to accept the 2024 Justice Court annual audit.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Resolution passes. Number 6, resolution number 91 of 2025 to accept the town annual audit.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 7, so this is the vote for the final budget. To address Christina Collette's question, it really comes down to the difference between reporting and forecasting. It's not that the reporting was off, the reporting was very much accurate, it's just a difference of forecasting. And it could go both ways when it comes to forecasting. If you forecast wrong in the negative, you result in a deficit, and we didn't raise enough money to pay our bills. If you forecast in the opposite direction, you wind up with an artificial surplus and then wind up with more money than we need, which goes into our fund balance for the following year. So number 7, resolution number 92 of 2025 to adopt the final budget of 2026. I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Number 8, resolution 93 of 2025. So this requires, I believe it's a state mandate that all municipalities adopt a .gov website. And that's because you see a lot of .coms, we're a .com, you'll see a .org, a .net, a .us, so they're trying to create a standardization and consistency throughout the state that all municipal websites, whether it's a village, town, county, should move to a .gov. So resolution 93 of 2025, adoption of .gov domain for official town website and email communications.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. So number 9. So this one requires a little bit of explaining because it seems pretty vague here, authorizing engagement of special counsel.
If you read the name of the actual resolution that was drafted, it explains it.
Explains it, yeah. So, yeah, but that the public, didn't
Understood.
get that. So, effectively, this is to engage in counsel to provide litigation services to the planning board. Essentially, one of the planning board applicants, they received an approval with conditions. They, I guess, weren't satisfied with that outcome, so they're proceeding with an Article 78 proceeding, where essentially they're challenging that decision by the planning board. So therefore, the town board has to obtain legal representation to represent the planning board. The assistant town attorney, Dylan Harris, and his firm that already represents the planning board, really just represents them, for guidance and, basically the services, but they don't do litigation work. But that is, they do the litigation work, but we're not contracted with them to perform that kind of work. So essentially, this is a resolution authorizing the town to engage in additional work for them to defend the planning board and their decision to whatever it is that they granted or denied, I don't know what it was. But the applicant, I believe it was HCS, wasn't satisfied with the decision that the planning board made, and they are looking to appeal that decision. So we're providing legal representation to the planning board. So, number 9, Resolution 94 of 2025, authorizing engagement of special counsel in connection with litigation.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Resolution passes. Number 10, so this has to do with, I don't know if you remember, last week we had Adam Gold present to build, I believe, 4 8-unit buildings on 13 acres of land that's zoned agricultural in Hurleyville. They're looking to do a zone change to allow the building of these 32 units. The town board hasn't committed one way or the other, but, you know, for them to do some preliminary work, like engineering work that requires some work on the town side, you know, we're looking to establish an escrow so they could reimburse us for our time performing this work. It's all done on contingent to the fact that we are not, you know, approving, disapproving, we're not committing one way or another to a zone change. We're just, you know, letting them do the legwork and the research, you know, so that they can present to the town board and maybe convince us that that is the best way to go. So, number 10, Resolution 95 of 2025, Pre-Planning Board Escrow Establishment for SBL 32A-1-20, located on Kyle Road in Hurleyville, New York.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Number 11. So this is the resolution to override the tax cap. Does it mean that we will, or that the budget does that? It just means that in case something happens where we do end up going over the tax cap, which is a complicated calculation, it doesn't put us in trouble with the state. So Resolution 96 of 2025, which is local law number 5 of 2025, to override the New York State tax cap limit. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm voting no. So 3-1. The vote is 3-1. All right, so we don't have anything else on the agenda tonight. I will entertain a motion to adjourn or anything else.
Motion
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight, and we are adjourned.
Oh, what's going on?
Yes.